The race for governor has gotten a bit more crowded. Our newsmaker this week is the newest Republican in the race, Larry Hogan. Mr. Hogan, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You were the appointments secretary in the Ehrlich administration, otherwise have not held elective office. Talk a little about why you're getting into the race and what your qualifications are.
Well, I'm getting into the race because I've spent the last 3 years traveling all across the state. And I've had the opportunity to listen to the concerns of a great many Marylanders from all walks of life. And what I'm sensing from people everywhere is frustration. They feel a real disconnect between Annapolis and the rest of Maryland. And I believe that a majority of Marylanders, regardless of their party affiliation, are really fed up with politics as usual in Annapolis, and they're looking for a dramatic change of direction in our state capital. So we've been kind of told that this election comes down to do we promote the number 2 guy in the current administration or the number 3 guy in the current administration? And I just think most people in Maryland don't want either one of those choices. And I'm running because I think the people of Maryland deserve to have a real clear choice for a change, and that's what I hope to give to them.
Let me come back to the qualification question, because almost everybody else who's running has been, if not a lieutenant governor or attorney general, at least a state delegate. Are you open to your qualifications being questioned, having not served in political office?
I actually think I'm the most qualified person in the race, and frankly, I don't think someone who spends their entire career in elective office necessarily means they're the most qualified. I've spent 25 years in the private sector. I founded and I run several successful businesses, and I've brought hundreds of companies and thousands of jobs into Maryland. I understand, how to struggle to meet a payroll and balance a budget, which is something I think most of those people have no experience whatsoever at. I'm one of the few people who actually has experience in the executive branch of state government. As a cabinet secretary, I was involved in running, helping to run the Ehrlich Steel administration, was involved in every single department and every single agency in state government, which in some ways is much more meaningful experience than being a legislator, for example. But I don't think people want just politicians. I haven't spent my entire life in elective office. In fact, I've never held elective office, and I think that's an advantage and gives me a leg up on some of the competition.
What's the scenario for this being a competitive year in November? Obviously, as you know, having been in the Ehrlich administration, he's the only Republican to have won in over 40 years. What might make 2014 competitive?
I think that there's a mood out there in the electorate, and I think it's an overwhelming majority of Marylanders that want to go in a different direction. And I don't think there's any way possible that the lieutenant governor or the attorney general are going to be able to convince a majority of Marylanders that they represent a dramatic change of direction for Annapolis. I think most people are looking for, somebody like myself that's an outsider, who's not part of the system in Annapolis. Do we want to return the same guys who've mismanaged the state for the past 8 years and give them another 4 years? Or is it time to try something different? I think a majority of Marylanders, regardless of their party affiliation, are fed up, and they're ready to go in a different direction.
To get to November, you got to win the Republican primary. Obviously, you're a late entrant, just announcing this week. Where do you differ with the other candidates? Are there serious differences on the issues?
I think most of us agree for the most part. I mean, we haven't had a chance to sit down with all of them yet, or we haven't had the opportunity to have a debate or discuss all the issues. But I think we agree on a lot of things. It really comes down to who has the most qualifications and who has the most rounded experience and who has the best chance of competing in November. So far, there hasn't been, several people have been out there for 6 to 8 months saying that they're candidates, but there hadn't been much real evidence of aggressive campaigns that could actually be competitive in November, which is one of the reasons why so many people encouraged me to get in the race. I believe that the people deserve to have a real clear choice for a change this November, and that's what we intend to give them. Obviously, there's a primary. I think primaries are healthy and productive, and all those guys are I appreciate the fact that anybody that wants to put themselves up for public service and run, I admire them. But I believe we're going to win the primary, and I think we can run a very competitive race in November.
Everybody else has obviously had a head start in the fundraising, though when the numbers were released, nobody had a sizable war chest on the Republican side.
Well, actually, I've been out there for 3 years, campaigning, the Campaign to Change Maryland, which has been, we've built the largest and most successful grassroots citizen organization in state history. We have 75,000 Republicans, Democrats, and independents involved in our organization. I've been speaking all all across the state. I've been leading the fight against the O'Malley Brown administration on most of the economic issues for 3 years. So it's not like we're getting in late in any way. And we just had an event last month that 1,200 people attended. Which we had a breakfast earlier this year, an economic summit on improving Maryland's economic competitiveness, a business summit. We had more than 400 people. So we have the ability to put together a heck of an organization. I believe will not match the Democratic incumbents dollar for dollar. They have all the powers of incumbency and the millions of dollars in special interest money. We have a grassroots organization of 75,000 fed-up Republicans, Democrats, and independents who want to see a real change of direction in Maryland.
Before I run out of time, the group is called Change Maryland. Give me some specifics. What do you want to change?
Well, the first thing that we're going to focus on is jobs, the middle class, and turning Maryland's economy around. The state's way off track, heading in the wrong direction. Over the past 7 years, spending has increased $10 billion. We've raised 40 consecutive tax hikes, taken an additional $9.5 billion out of the pockets of struggling Maryland families and small businesses. The impact of that has been devastating on our economy. We've lost 10 of our 13 Fortune 500 companies. We've lost 6,000 small businesses. We've doubled unemployment. Another 100,000 Marylanders have lost their jobs over the past 7 years. We've led the nation in foreclosure. So we're 44th out of 50 states in our state economy. That's just simply unacceptable, and the people of Maryland deserve better. We've got to go in a different direction. We can't continue to head down the same path of fiscal irresponsibility.
You have about a month to actually file for office and name a running mate. Do you have somebody lined up?
Well, if I did, I probably wouldn't tell you tonight, but we're getting close to that decision, and I don't think we'll take the whole month to get it done. I think we'll have an announcement on that, in a relatively short period of time.
All right, Larry Hogan, candidate for governor, thank you for being with us.
Jeff, thank you.